What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and wow, we've got even more information coming out of Twitter in terms of some level of confirmation around shadow banning, in particularly conservatives. Shadow banning that still exists right now to this day. I would know about that if I was allowed to use my Twitter, but Elon's e-girls apparently got a bunch of power there and keeping me locked out. So there's that. But Dave Rubin put out a thread yesterday, spent the last 2 days at Twitter in San Francisco, talking to engineers, product managers, and yes, Elon Musk. Learned a ton about what's going on. Before I share, I want to note after a couple hours of meeting, I asked Elon what I could share, and he said anything that's true. Now, this was also covered by the Post Millennial, which isn't covering my Twitter ban for some reason, even though they reached out and asked a bunch of questions about it. But Elon Musk reveals that there are, in fact, secret Twitter labels causing shadow bans on conservatives. On Thursday, conservative commentator Dave Rubin reported that he had spent the last 2 weeks at Twitter's San Francisco headquarters talking to engineers, product managers, and, of course, Elon Musk, and learned that the team still has more questions than answers, including around a bunch of secret labels used to shadow ban conservatives beyond the revelations of the Twitter files. My position on this has continued to remain, why are these things still around? Elon keeps saying about, well, it takes time. I mean, it wouldn't take that much time to just tell the system to ignore these labels or to en masse remove them. But for whatever reason, they're still there. And I can say this, with some degree of confidence that there's a lot of, conservatives in the space that say, hey, my interactions vary wildly. And, I still think I'm shadow banned. 1 week, everyone says they're shadow banned. Another week says they're not. So there's clearly something going on. Rubin tweeted that accounts aren't just hit with labels that are obvious to insiders. They now found more, quote, secret labels that are causing shadow bans. My account was hit with all three: recent bad behavior strike, recent misinformation strike, recent suspension strike. It's unclear what these strikes actually do, but for sure they suppress views and recommendations. They are trying to figure out to what extent. I have also had many innocuous tweets labeled as NSFW or NSFA, which affect visibility in the timeline. Quote, there's an entire keyword database so that machine learning makes sure not to promote bad behavior or things that it generally wouldn't want to promote. But it's a mess of overreaching words. Literally, the word gay was on the keyword list, which would make you not advertiser friendly and harm the tweets in the algorithm, Rubin tweeted. Ooh, well, maybe the left will suddenly start caring about this. So this could be interesting. Very interesting. In July of 2022, Rubin was suspended from Twitter for defending Jordan Peterson's tweet about Elliot Page. Backing up for a second, they found the, quote, recent suspension strike on my account most interesting because it was from July of 2022 when I was suspended for calling out Jordan Peterson's unjust suspension. So though suspension was reversed, the action on the account remained, Rubin tweeted. I noticed this when on Saturday, it appeared that my appeal had been accepted and my account had been restored. For some reason, I remember this, and it was like groggy, and it was like 5 a.m. when I was seeing it. So maybe I feel like it said appeal granted, strike removed, is said on the account when I logged back in. Now, maybe I'm just imagining that. I don't think I am, but certainly my account has been suspended before. And how long do these, if you've ever been suspended, how long does that penalty stay in place? Rubin said Elon was bringing people in and out constantly and seems to be aware of pretty much every issue. He thinks maybe the entire code has to be torn down and start from scratch. At the end of the night, he said the whole situation is a flaming dumpster rolling down the street. Quote, so I assure you, They are aware of the problems, and Elon and engineers are all there all night trying to untie this crazy knot. Some changes they've made, like the For You tab, have confused people and hurt engagement for accounts who have gotten the NSFA not safe for advertisers label without knowing, Rubin added. I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised by this. I think you see here in his actual tweet, a fractal Rube Goldberg machine. That's what Elon Musk called Twitter. As they fix the code, more problems arise. A delicate balance he likened to a Jenga tower. One wrong move and the whole thing collapses. They're working nonstop, and both times I met him were after midnight. This is one of the reasons I've continued to kind of give the guy a break about my Twitter ban. I find it unjust. I find that it is my opinion that that Trust and Safety is working closely with Eliza Blue to go take advantage of loopholes in the rules, or perhaps even outright maliciously apply punitive actions to my account and other accounts. Maybe Elon doesn't even know about it. The dude's pretty busy. He's had a pretty good month with Tesla, though. Tesla stock owners are a lot less grumbly. He wrote, I met with several engineers to do a deep dive on why my account and so many others, I'm sure Dave Rubin only looked at his account, I assure you, seemed to be absolutely crushed after a 2 or 3 week return to normalcy when Elon first took over. They still have more questions than answers, but they did learn a bunch of stuff. Accounts aren't just hit with labels that are obvious to insiders. They now found more secret labels, which are causing shadow bans. My account was hit with all 3. It's unclear so far what these strikes actually do. I mean, imagine looking at code and like seeing these things and you're like, I don't even know what they do. Like, it's going to take a year for them to make Twitter like truly fair and balanced. I really hope that, by the next election cycle, that would be pretty good timing, I would suspect. Also, there's an entire keyword database. Backing up for a second, they found a, quote, recent suspension strike on my account most interesting because it was from July of 2022 when I was suspended for calling out Jordan Peterson. It's unjust suspension. He goes on to say, I assure you they're aware of the problems, and Elon and engineers are there all night to try and untie the crazy knot. Some changes they've made, like the For You tab, they also don't know for sure why things got so much better once Elon made the acquisition and why it seems so far worse now. Some is probably related to the excitement around Elon himself. I actually agree with that, which is also coincided with the World Cup, but that doesn't explain why it feels so off right now. Well, I have a suspicion why that might be. It's because people get bored. All these conservatives and right-wingers like came back to Twitter excited and saying this is fun and whatever. But life happens. People had the holidays. People, the excitement, everything shiny fades. So a lot of people came back and they were using Twitter more than usual because they wanted to support it. And then they saw, Shadowbans are still a thing. Or, hey, we're not going to unban Alex. Or we're going to bring back this account and then suspend it anyway. And there's this problem. And there's that problem. And you can still get banned for hate speech. And you can still get banned for misgendering people. And you could, so like each one of these little things eroded people who probably thought like, woo, this, the chains have been, I've been unshackled. Twitter's going to be fun again. And the reality is it's going to take, I'm going to guess like at least 6 more months before the platform is really kind of fair and balanced, maybe even longer. And who knows if I'll even be unbanned by then. I am not removing this photograph, even though it seems like Twitter is like deleting, my tweets. I can't see what they're deleting, but they're getting deleted. I don't really know. He also a huge shout out for David Sachs, who is helping Elon clean up his mess because he believes in the fight for free speech as much as Elon. One of the things Elon really lit up when we talked about shifting the political landscape and how anyone non-woke is now far right. The notion is deeply connected to how screwy things got at Twitter, and he's working to fix it despite the huge challenges ahead. Well, and frankly, they got to get the company out of San Francisco because it's gross. What's really crazy, now having seen under the hood, is that Jack Dorsey repeatedly said they don't shadow ban. The entire machine behind Twitter is designed to shadow ban. It's almost as if it was the primary goal rather than the product itself. Well, also understand that they never called it a shadow ban. They called it deboosting or delisting, or so they got to live in the semantics of it. An engineer I've been working with contacted me on this specifically and said there is a technical reason for why it happens. And of course, Elon Musk replies, accurate tweet. So it'll be interesting to see. There's a whole lot of it that has yet to be unraveled. Obviously, Elon's dealing with other things like, advertiser boycotts. There was one report that said something like a 70% drop in December or January, or whatever it was. Hey, he's got my viewers that I gleefully told to sign up for Twitter Blue, now canceling Twitter Blue because a different kind of blue is influencing their trust and safety. He's got a lot of cleaning up to do, and I think the reality is setting in for a lot of people that it's not going to be an overnight thing. I hope you were informed by this video, and if you were, please do click that red subscribe button down below. I would greatly appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.